Thank you, Dr. Mustafa, and thanks SCCA for providing me with really the honor of participating in this wonderful conference. Distinguished speakers, honored attendees, it is a joy always for me to be here in Riyadh with dear friends and colleagues. So, shukran. I have a disclosure to make before I start. I come from a slightly above average Saudi family, 7 siblings in my family. And I love my brothers and sisters dearly, but I confess that once in a while, we do not get along. My colleagues have done a terrific job of introducing the subject of family-run business disputes and their causes of disputes, and perhaps a rationale for considering resolving them in a means that is private, that is more quiet, that is friendlier, and that in the end is something agreed to by all concerned. And that, of course, in the modern age, is mediation. Family disputes deserve attention. Richard told you that 25% of the economy here, literally 25%, is represented by family disputes, family businesses. Succession planning is difficult. Economic issues create cash flow problems, employment issues, and government, to its credit, and particularly the Saudi Ministry of Commerce and Industry, has identified issues including the lack of transparency, inadequate succession planning, and the absence of a well-defined disputes mechanism as problematic in family-run businesses here in the kingdom, and so has recommended a guide, actually a charter, which I found was very impressed by, a guiding charter for family-owned businesses. Not surprisingly, it focuses on good corporate governance and effective dispute resolution. It recommends bodies including a board of directors, a family board, and interestingly, a conciliation body. The conciliation body that is recommended under the charter consists of non-members of the family who are selected by the family board. All by way of saying, I suppose, that the charter and really good public policy here in the kingdom recognizes the value of amicable dispute resolution for family-owned businesses. Let me turn to mediation. Mediation, my colleagues have suggested, may well be a better way to resolve family-owned business disputes, a better resolution. Easy way to think of mediation is confidential negotiation assisted by a skilled, impartial, and independent facilitator, listener, problem solver. Mediators bring specific value. My colleagues have talked about the concept, but frequently I'm asked, why should I bother? We can solve this problem ourselves. What does a mediator add to the problem-solving dynamic? And they add a significant values, and I'm just going to go through a few. The first thing they do, which I think may be underrated, is they bring people together. They create a forum. You are expected to attend a mediation conference. No longer is it acceptable to say, I'm out of town on that day, or couldn't we reschedule this for 6 months? So the good thing that mediation does, it becomes a formal process, is you create an event. You create an opportunity for people to meet and start narrowing issues and hopefully resolving those issues. Skilled mediators are good facilitators. They invite difficult conversation, the ones that people don't want to have, the words we never really want to hear. They ask questions. They mostly listen like a wise person, following the conversation and keeping people focused on the issues. Richard talked about the emotions in family-run business disputes. Emotion is real. We can't pretend it doesn't exist. But what a mediator can do, and the value of a mediator in the room, is the mediator can allow a certain amount of venting to take place, but bring the parties back to the subject matter. Yes, but let's talk about the business. Where are we going with the business? Where are we going with this particular matter? Good mediators assist parties in identifying their real interests. Frequently in court, in court documents and papers that are filed, you don't see what people really want. What you see is damages or alleged breaches of contract. What you don't see is, I want a fair deal, or I want my share to be every bit as equal, and I would like to be respected in this relationship. Mediators are reality testers. And so mediators are sometimes able to meet with parties, particularly privately, in a process called a caucus. So it's a confidential conversation, and I can just listen. And sometimes people's expectation is a bit, well, it's unrealistic. And a good mediator, without arguing, will ask questions to really allow the person, allow the disputant to look at their own case and say, okay, maybe that position really isn't so realistic. Good mediators are good problem solvers. Solutions that are not available in a court are frequently available in the context of a mediation. So we can rewrite something. We can, tear up the contract. We can redraft it. We can build something additionally. We can move people around in a structure where the structure is creating tension or creating problems. We can reallocate assets. We can expand time. Money can be allocated in lots of different ways, lots of creative ways. So mediators are creative people by definition. And what they do is they allow disputants to get out of thinking there's a single solution, help them recognize that frequently there are multiple solutions, and help them realize a best solution for the particular problem. So problem solvers. Finally, mediators keep things going. I don't know how many times you've been part of a discussion where somebody gets up and leaves the room, where somebody just walks away. Mediators are good at keeping the discussion flowing. When things tighten up, the subject gets changed. When things get too heated, a break is taken. So a skilled mediator can keep parties engaged in dialogue, assist you in working through the problem, assist you in addressing various issues before you and the real interests of the disputants, and ultimately bring you to a agreed upon settlement. These are not people who carry messages back and forth. These are active, intelligent professionals. And while it's new and relatively new in the context of some disputes, you heard about it talked in earlier by, I think it was Victor, in terms of oil and gas and construction. Mediation works, and it's something you should consider. Thanks ever so much for your time.